Okay, my name is Delores, and I have daddy issues. There, I said it out loud and on purpose. Okay. And y'all, for a long time, I would have rather swallowed those words than to say that out loud. Because daddy issues gets thrown around like it's an insult, not like it's a wound. But that's exactly what it is. But it gets used to clown women. But when I say I have daddy issues, here's what I really mean. I mean that my relationship with my father shaped how I see myself. That my relationship with my father shaped what I tolerate. It shaped who I choose. It shaped how I feel in my own skin. I thought I'm being too sensitive, too needy, too guarded. But what I didn't realize is that those were survival skills. They were skills that I picked up as a daughter who just wanted to feel safe, who wanted to feel seen, and who wanted to be loved. And I just know, like, I can't be the only one who's ever felt that tension. And maybe it's you. Maybe you have felt the same thing where you look grown, you handle your business, you show up for everybody. But inside there's still this little girl who never got what she needed from her father. See, I think that we have a tendency to call that baggage, right? Oh, that's just baggage. We shrug our shoulders, we move on. I'm not doing that anymore, y'all. This series is me refusing to stay silent about it. But I think what gets confused is what daddy issues really means. See, when I use the phrase daddy issues, I'm not talking about a joke. I'm talking about a father who was absent, distracted, controlling, unsafe. I'm talking about a daughter who grew up around that. The patterns that show up later in dating, marriage, family, work, faith, everything. For some of us, dad was physically gone. For others of us, he was in the house, but he wasn't in our hearts. For some of us, he was a pastor, a leader, a hero in public, but the source of absolute confusion and pain in private. That's what I'm talking about in this series. But here's why the confession matters. Me saying, my name is Delores, right here, and I have daddy issues, actually both hands, child, okay? But that does three powerful things. First off, it frees me, and it can free you from shame. See, shame is what keeps you quiet. Shame tells you that you're the problem. But the confession says, something happened to me. It affected me, and I'm allowed to talk about it. Second, it gave me focus. Because once you name it, you can start to see where it shows up in your life. It shows up in your fear of being abandoned, in your need to perform for love, in your struggle to trust men or authority. And it shows up in your anger, the anger that you were told to bury, but it only gets buried inside you. And thirdly, it opens the door for healing, true healing. You can't heal a wound that you pretend doesn't even exist. And you can't break down a pattern that you won't name. And y'all, I promise you, there was a time when I thought healing meant just pretend that it's over, right? But now I know that healing starts with telling the truth first. Even when your voice shakes, tell the truth. And what I've experienced and what I now can show you is tackling your daddy issues. In this series, this is what we're going to talk about, and we're going to walk this out step by step. I'm not speaking at you. I'm walking with you as a daughter who is still doing this work. Still doing the work. You'll always be doing the work. The first stage, tell the truth. Tell the truth about your story. Like, it starts with you just being honest. What did you actually live through with your father? What did you need that you didn't get? What did you see, hear, and feel that you were never allowed to say out loud? I felt guilty, y'all. I felt guilty for even thinking that my father hurt me, let alone acknowledging the fact. But just even thinking of it made me feel guilty. The narrative was, he's a man of God. He did his best. Honor your father, respect your father. Meanwhile, my inner world was collapsing. And I'm just wondering, what other daughters out there have felt disloyal just for admitting that their dad failed them? That he failed you in some areas. But in this space, sis, you got permission to tell the truth without editing to protect anybody's image. Stage 2 is connecting the dots. Connect the dots. Once you tell the truth about what happened, then you start asking, where is this still living in me? And I believe that the tendency for us is to separate family stuff from relationship stuff, from work stuff. Like they're all on different planets. Like they're not all connected, but they are connected, very much connected. So here's what you ask yourself now. Who do I turn into when a man pulls away from me? Who do I turn into when an authority figure raises their voice? Who do I turn into when I feel misunderstood? And for a while, I kept saying, men are the problem. But I never asked, what did my relationship with my father teach me to expect from men in the first place? And y'all, that question changed everything. Stage 3 is give yourself permission to heal. And y'all, I promise you, this is uncomfortable. I'll be the first to say, this part is uncomfortable because healing means that you change. And change means that you will experience some loss. You might lose the fantasy of the father you wish you had. You might lose some relationships that only worked because you were broken. You might lose the version of yourself that stayed small just to keep everybody else comfortable. And I'm just wondering if you have this knowing that it's time to step back, that it's time to cut contact, it's time to set the boundaries, but you still feel terrified. You're not weak for feeling that fear. You're human. And you are allowed to choose peace. And when I say, y'all, permission to heal, that looks like you saying, I need help with this. And reaching for therapy, reaching for coaching, reaching for community. But it's also, this hurt me. This did hurt me without apologizing for it. You don't have to apologize for that. And it's you saying, I'm not staying in patterns that destroy me, and mean it. And this is my prayer for this series in Daddy Issues to Daughters of Discernment. This is what I want us to do. I want us to break down what these issues actually are. Like, not just the stereotypes, like the real issues. And I want us to talk about how they show up in your dating, how they show up in sex, how they show up in marriage, how they show up in friendships, how they show up in your faith. I want us to call out the patterns with love and with honesty, gracefully. I want us to walk through the practical steps that I took myself and that you can take to start your healing right where you are. I used to think that I was the only one wrestling with it, just wrestling in silence, child. But now I know, y'all, there are millions of us, millions of daughters who feel the same way. They think they're alone too. And I just know that they wish that they had language for what they feel. In a community that actually gets it, like that actually understands. And this is that community. You're in the right places. My name is Delores. Both hands. I have daddy issues. It's not a punchline. It's a starting point. And if you're ready to tell the truth, then stay with me. Stay with me through this series and in this community. Let's walk this out together, y'all. One episode at a time. In the comments, tell me what hit you the most. And share with a daughter who needs to know she's not crazy. She's discerning. I love you, and remember, you are important to me. I need you to survive. Bye-bye for now.